shot the hell out of that guy, huh?
The Last of Us Part 1 is bloody brilliant, but this remake is an almost 10-year-old game that's coming with no new content, a missing multiplayer mode, and improvements that most would not be able to notice without a direct side-by-side comparison, at least for the most part. The Last of Us Part 1 is an impressive game, and some of its visual upgrades are very evident, particularly in cutscenes where character models have obviously been refined, helping to bring out the performances of the cast even further. Likewise, the new lighting method brings out the beauty of its tragic world. Spores flicker and sparkle through torchlight, and the setting sun basks the desolate city streets and the deserted suburbs in a warm glow that you can almost feel through the screen. And yet, despite being a remake, or as I'm going to call it, an enhanced remaster, it's very difficult to pass this new, more expensive version from its previous PS4 release. Naughty Dog and Sony came out swinging after a leaked video prompted fans to complain about the lack of new features in the game. The studio presented a trailer showing some comparison shots, and there was a PlayStation blog post with vague details on modernised gameplay, improved combat, and deeper world interaction, such as cars gently moving as they're shot or leaned up against as cover. I can honestly say, I didn't notice. To be fair, how would I even know if there were new animations? I don't keep a video catalogue of each game's animations, so if there are one or two new moves, they've meshed in with the rest of this familiar outing. I can also say that I didn't notice anything from the sequel being backtracked into The Last of Us Part 1. For example, you can't go prone, nor can you hide in the foliage. I found the latter out the hard way and ruined my stealthy approach in the process. There is DualSense support though, and I appreciated the tactile feedback on the bow and arrow, as well as the gyro aiming, something that not enough games take advantage of, sadly. Outside of the spruced up cinematics and the in-game character models, most improvements are subtle, and had they not already been detailed in some of the pre-release promo videos, I wouldn't know they were there. I suppose that's really a testament to the previous versions of the game. They were so well done that my memories of them still hold strong. Now, all of this is not to say that there's no value in The Last of Us Part 1. There most definitely is. It just depends where you're coming from. For first-timers who've never experienced Naughty Dog's finest, it's the best place to start. For me, a returning player, it's interesting to see how I relate to the game and its themes after aging a decade. My tastes have changed, and my life experiences have skewed what I find enjoyable and relatable. The Last of Us Part 1 may be the same game at its core, but I'm not the same man who first played it on the living room floor of a scruffy student flat. Being able to relate to Joel on a paternal level was not possible back when Joel and Ellie were trying to survive in 720p. Now, with crystal clear, dynamic 4K and a child of my own, I see what Joel sees, and it's haunting. That opening scene with Sarah, it never got to me in the past. Never. This time around though, my famously stiff upper lip definitely faltered. Troy Baker's pitiful begging as his daughter dies in his arms hit me really hard, and being able to paint myself into that picture made the scene all the more harrowing to witness. A decade ago, I just thought, yeah, that sucks. When can I shoot some zombies? From that tear-jerker opening to the first oh crap moment where I lost focus and alerted some clickers, right to the final chapter where Joel finally earns himself a sliver of redemption, I really can't fault it. At least not without needless nitpicking. It's a near-perfect experience and a masterclass in video game storytelling. The cinematography is Hollywood level, as is the acting. The writing can be a little too self-indulgent at times, but it still hits hard when it needs to, delivering emotional blows with Joel's rugged gruffness and some light-hearted moments with Ellie's naivety and her apparent fondness for the F-word. Joel and Ellie's story is one of survival, parenthood and redemption. Where The Last of Us Part 2 focused squarely on Ellie's dark path to revenge, Joel's is essentially going in the opposite direction. Watching, listening, and playing along with Joel and Ellie's relationship is fascinating as a, air quotes, proper adult. Hearing the fatherly concern in Joel's questions and the arrogant, self-sure retorts from Ellie is something I've heard in my living room 1,000 times at this point. Initially, Joel wants nothing to do with Ellie. In fact, this cold, cruel man, who was once a loving father, brother and friend to many, doesn't bat an eye as his friend shoots a man in the head for a debt he owes to Joel. Upon learning of what makes Ellie so valuable to the Fireflies, the militant group that Joel is tasked with delivering her to, he would just as soon feed her brain a bullet too. Witnessing the evolution of their relationship is a true joy, punctuated with moments of true terror. The world's a nasty place, and outside of the relative safety of the quarantine zones, everything goes. Unlike other zombie games, you're not playing as an overpowered zombie-killing machine. One wrong move and it's curtains, by way of a selection of gruesome death animations. They really are gory, and despite having a strong stomach, I was tempted to turn the gore down in the options. Every moment is a struggle for survival. Bullets are rare, and good people rarer still. I estimate that I spent about half my time in the game with Joel squatting down low to stay quiet and to better spot any valuable resources that could be used to help me live a little longer. That said, I did play on the easy difficulty setting, don't judge me, so that I could take in the story. I've already run the gauntlet before, I don't need that kind of stress in my life. But if you really want to take the game to another level, and for every encounter to be truly life and death, you can up the difficulty and even turn on permadeath. The Last of Us Part 1's gameplay is basically identical to its previous versions, but I can't say that that's a bad thing. The gameplay has aged better than I have. Encounters with the infected are still tense and deliberately paced. Where other games throw crowds of zombies at the player, The Last of Us Part 1 strategically places its enemies across its levels, almost in a chess-like manner. A move in one direction may lead to a fight that you can't win. A move in the other may result in saving a few precious bullets for later. An early encounter in the game got me my first "oh crap" moment. Thinking that I was in the clear and making good on my stealthy manoeuvre, I got a bit too confident and alerted a group of nearby clickers. My slow, steady and silent approach was in the wind, as the click-clack yakking screams of the clickers blared from my TV. This was my first cock-up, and it certainly wasn't the last. If there's a new death animation in The Last of Us Part 1, I've definitely seen it. Naturally, the infected are not the only threat, because humans are the real bastards. Of course we are. It's a trope that's been done 1,000 times before. Humans are the real monsters. And it will be done 1,000 times again. But I love how The Last of Us Part 1 keeps its lines deliberately grey, particularly with the main cast, including Joel. He's not a good guy, but in this world where everyone's for themselves, he's far from the worst, and the worst really are despicable. I'm looking at you, David, you creepy little git. Joel's redemption is bittersweet, and come the end credits you may wonder, what was it all for? I know I did the first time around all those years ago, but with the benefit of time on my back, I've come to appreciate the nuanced storytelling that much more. And for me, that's where The Last of Us Part 1 finds its worth. It's the best possible version of Naughty Dog's best ever game. So far. The Last of Us Part 1 is the definitive version of Naughty Dog's classic. Sadly, I am afraid that the conversation, at least amongst the old guard who first took Ellie under their wing all those years ago, will hone in on the economics rather than the breakthrough emotional storytelling and the grounded gameplay. And that is the end of this review. Thank you very much for watching. If you found this video useful or informative, please do us a solid and hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And don't forget to turn on notifications so that you don't miss any future videos. I've been Chris, you've been gorgeous, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, cheers my dears.